Welcome to your first time home buyer's guide. Today, I'm walking you through every single step from the beginning to the end. We're starting exactly where you are right now, probably renting or maybe still living with your parents, and moving all the way into your first home. How exciting. The goal is to make sure this isn't filled with the anxiety and frustration that usually comes with home buying. The more you understand how this all works, the more money you're going to save, the more fun you're going to have, and the easier it will be to get your offers accepted. So let's start with step one, planning your money. Listen, if you don't have a solid plan for how your finances will shake out, you're going to feel like you're being tossed in the wind. People will try to sell you on programs or houses that you don't actually control. First, you have to figure out what you want and what you want to spend. Don't let someone else tell you what they think you should spend. Because remember, the average time from getting under contract to moving is only about 45 to 60 days. Planning is what makes the process smooth. You will also need to know that a lender is not a financial planner. They are not interested in your personal budget. Often a lender will offer you a much bigger loan than you should actually take, and I obviously don't think you should do that. This is how people become house poor. That's when your house payment is so expensive that you can't afford to do anything else with your life, like going out for dinner or going to a movie. Only you can decide your budget. So a good rule of thumb is to spend no more than 25% of your take-home pay on your housing payment. So if your household income is, say, $8,000 a month, that means your maximum payment should be about $2,000. That includes your mortgage payment, all the interest and principal, your insurance, and your taxes on the property. If that still feels like too much for you, adjust it. Be sure to account for utilities and maintenance too. Don't forget that. Things break, things have to get repaired, all those kind of things. Now, let's talk about upfront costs. Most people think you need at least 20% down to put down on a house. That is simply not the case. Conventional loans for first-time buyers can be as low as 5% down. And on top of the down payment, you have closing costs. Now, these are fees for, say, the lawyer, a moving company, a title insurance, and of course, the lender. Good rule of thumb is to set aside about 1.5% to 2% of the purchase price for these costs. You will also have out-of-pocket costs right away for like a home inspection, which usually runs about $400 or $500, and any other important inspections that are needed, like a pool or maybe a septic or a water testing, is very important as well. You also have to figure out, why are you buying a home? If you aren't clear on your why, it is easy to get caught up in the deals you aren't comfortable with. Is it a necessity to buy a house, or is it just a preference? I want you to also start with this. Create a free Google Drive account and start a document called Buying a Home. Write down exactly why you're doing this. And you know what? Anytime I mention anything like this, I want you to put it in that folder. Clarity helps you make wise decisions. Next, we need to find a lender. We do this before, and I'm saying before, we look at houses and before we talk to even a realtor. We need to know for a fact that we can get a loan. There is no point in getting attached to, say, a $400,000 house if you're only approved for, say, $350,000. I recommend you apply with 3 different types of lenders: a mortgage broker, a local bank, and a credit union. They all have different rates and different styles of doing business. And I can send you a list of my trusted advisors so you can add this to your drive and make a few phone calls. If you want a ballpark of your rate before you call, Google the Ontario Rate Checker. It'll give you a great baseline for your area. When you're ready to get pre-approved, Don't make the mistake of waiting for a lender to ask for documents. Be the golden borrower and have them ready in your Google Drive. You will need at least 30 days of pay stubs, 2 years of T4s, and 2 years of tax returns. You also need 2 months of bank statements and your driver's license. The lender will do a hard credit pull. Don't panic. This only affects your score by 0 to 5 points. You have a 45-day window to shop around with multiple lenders, and it will only count as one single inquiry. Once you apply, ask each lender for a TBD loan estimate. And listen, don't just choose the lowest rate. Choose a lender who has the heart of a teacher and responds to you quickly. If they are difficult to work with now, they will be a nightmare when you're under contract and need the information as quickly as possible. Once you are pre-approved, you are on a no movement plan with your money. Do not buy a new car. Do not finance anything, especially furniture or new appliances or anything like that. Do not change or quit your job. Do not move large amounts of money in your account or any of your other accounts. And for the love of everything, do not miss any payments on your Visa or MasterCard or whatever it is. Any of these can derail your loan at the last minute. Now, let's find a real estate agent. If you're not going to call me, I would avoid just calling the listing agent. This is when the agent represents both you and the seller. And a lot of buyers think they're going to get a better deal. But you want someone who is 100% in your corner. Experience isn't everything, because an agent who has been around for, say, 30 years but doesn't answer their phone isn't going to help you. Trust your gut. Look for someone helpful, not salesy. Get referrals from friends and family. Maybe talk to 3 or 4 agents. And here's a good idea. Ask ChatGPT the top 10 questions I should ask a realtor. And remember, the agent is paid by the seller, so there is typically no upfront cost to you. Now it's time to shop. Follow your agent's updates rather than constantly checking on Realtor.ca or, Home Sigma or any of those. Your agent's data is much more accurate and up to date. Stick to your budget. If you're approved for $350,000, don't even look at something at $400,000 or $500,000 unless they've been on the market for 6 months or more, and you might get a deal. But sometimes it only leads to emotional disappointment. Here's something you need to add to your Google Drive: a needs versus wants list. Be very clear on what is important to you, and the most important, decide on some things that can wait. The market moves fast, and if you aren't clear, you might make a decision you'll regret. Try not to get emotionally attached until the keys are in your hand. Buying a home is a big deal, but it doesn't have to be overwhelming. If you follow these steps, you're going to move in with joy and momentum. If you want to use the same calculator I use, comment calculator, and I'll send you the link so you can find your estimated purchase price today. And you know what? If you found this helpful, hit the like button and subscribe for more guides and videos on the home buying process right here in the Niagara region. And I'll see you in the next one.